The minority in Parliament say they will not allow government to rush through the House with a 140 million euros facility to construct an interchange and ancillary facilities in Suame in the Ashanti region. The agreement was placed in the House just a day after some residents protested and nearly attacked their MP Oseche Mensah Bonsu, who was also the majority leader in Parliament. According to the minority spokesperson on roads and transport, Kwame Agboja, MPs still do not have enough copies of the loan agreement to peruse and consider.
As you may be aware, it's just been laid in Parliament. The Committee on Finance and Roads and Transport are yet to look into it. In fact, as we speak, the Parliamentary, standing order says that immediately enough copies of a bill, a document is ready, it can be laid. It was laid yesterday, but as we speak, nobody has got a copy of that. So the question is, has it actually been laid? Because if it's laid and we don't have copies, and we are just hoping that nobody is going to tell us that within one day we should read those documents and pass it. We need a minimum of 1 week to be able to digest the content of that, to be able to pass it. By the way, we are rising on the 20th. So this is what we want to bring to your attention.
Kwame Agboja also alleged the protests in Suame may have been staged to force government to act. He says if that is not the case, the IGP must cause the arrest of the protesters, just as they went after Medina MP Francis Sosu, who also organized a demonstration over poor roads in his constituency.
The people are our people. Nobody will be punished. I thought the IGP was almost interested in jailing Honorable Sosu for being around when his own people were demonstrating around roads. So you see the same country, the IGP was not aware about any demonstration against the roads in Suame. And the fact that the MCE said, these are our own people, I'm suspicious this was done to induce Flagstaff House to come to the House with a quick executive approval of that loan. Indeed, it probably worked for them because by close of yesterday, that executive approval was signed and the bill brought to Parliament. You can call it conspiracy, but some conspiracies are very close to the fact.
We'll be taking you live to Parliament and speak with parliamentary correspondent Kwekwa Sante for more on this. Meanwhile, artisans and spare part dealers at Suame Magazine could soon heave a sigh of relief as contractors working on the Suame roundabout at Francho Road work around the clock to complete rehabilitation works. Officials of Joshop Construction say at least 1.5 kilometers of asphalt overlay would be completed this Friday. Ohim Interior has more.
The deplorable Suame roundabout at Francho stretch of the main Kumasi Techiman Road has been a subject of series of street protests by artisans and spare parts dealers at Suame Magazine. Angry artisans protesting over delays in fixing the pothole-riddled road attacked the Member of Parliament for the area and Majority Leader, Oseche Mensah Bonsu, who was meeting leadership of the artisans. What appeared a reactionary visit by the Member of Parliament for Suame to the concerns of his constituents over deplorable rules turned hostile. The angry artisans pelted the MP's entourage with sachet water and other items until a police team, led by the Ashanti Regional Police Commander, whisked the MP away in a police vehicle. The road contractors, Joshop Construction Limited, who abandoned the site over acute shortage of bitumen, have since returned to site, promising to complete an asphalt overlay on at least 1.5 kilometers of the stretch this Friday. Moses Nakoli is an asphalt foreman at Joshop Constructions.
We want to see the portals from the beginning. So tomorrow we'll spray the built out of the asphalt. So the asphalt will start on Friday morning. That's why we are here. We are going to lay the asphalt because after we do we cover the potholes finish. From the pothole finish, we need to sweep, we blast, then we spray the bitumen first layer, so that the following day, because here is asphalt layer. So now we receive the bitumen.
Officials of Joshop Construction are promising to work around the clock in what they describe as progressive construction timetable.
You should have patience, because some are my fathers, some are my brothers. then what is going on? It's not the program for the MP, it's program for the contractor. The bitumen, like we have everything, that program should come. So that you have patience, everything will be okay.
This perhaps will come as a relief to artisans and traders of Suame magazine who until now were faced with dusty roads. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Midday reporting.
Let's take you live to Parliament and speak with parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante for more. Kweku, first tell us about the 750 million component of the controversial $1 billion loan that has been moved. What will this be used for?
Now listed about 11 what they call economic infrastructure that this amount will be going into to support the economy. We know that the minority raised concerns and said that they were not in support of the loan agreement because government are not explaining exactly what they were going to use the amount for. In today's Finance Committee report that is presented to Parliament, you have 11 infrastructure that they are supporting, although the minority are raising some concerns. Let me run you through some of the list that they've been submitted. They say the Ofanko Nsawam Road, the Ejiso Kunungu Road, the completion of the Nsawam Apija Road, Suame Interchange and Local Road Network Project, which caused some issues for the majority leader over this week. There's also the completion of the Sufo Line Interchange, the construction of the Kwabinya Peduase Road Project, and construction of stadium infrastructure for the All-African Games that will be hosted in 2023 in Ghana. So these are some of the key economic infrastructure that government will be looking forward to use this $750 million to finance. The minority are raising concerns, according to Isaac Adongo, who is the deputy ranking member on that committee, on the finance committee. Some of these facilities that have been listed as projects that the loan agreement will go into finance, Parliament has already approved various loans for those projects. And so he is saying that government just needs this 750 million to do other things, but because the minority are threatened not to approve the loan agreement without this list, he has brought this phantom list to receive MPs. But the sense I'm getting now from the debate, which is ongoing, which is about to conclude, is that Parliament will pass this $750 million arrangement because both the minority and majority, although they differ in terms of the specifics, they all think that government needs this amount to survive.
Kweku, again, the minority is suggesting that the Suame protest may have been staged. On what basis are they making that allegation?
Indeed, according to the Roads and Transport Committee ranking member, Kwame Agboja, the charter in Parliament and the conspiracy theories that they themselves have woven is that the majority leader and other people within the constituency just staged this protest to force the hands of government to bring the loan agreement to Parliament to be approved. Yesterday, we reported to you that 150 million euros has been laid, a facility has been laid before Parliament for approval, which will go into the Suame interchange and ancillary facilities. And so, according to Kwame Agboja, the government having reneged on the promise to get this done for the people of Suame, the people just had to stage this so-called protest to draw the attention of government.
So why have they not been furnished with copies of that loan agreement? Any explanation?
So we haven't had an explanation yet. According to Kwame Agboja, they are waiting to get copies of the arrangement for them to peruse. And he says that it will take up to about a week for them to be able to fully digest the content of those agreements before they can pass it. Although Parliament is set to rise next week, this will mean that some of these agreements will be fast-tracked. And they say they will not be railroaded. They want to get more time to go through these agreements before they can pass them so that government or the Ghanaian people do not get some debt payment that they are not fully aware of.
Kweku, what other business is on the table for discussion in Parliament?
So it's a pact in terms of the question and answers. It's packed for the education minister who is expected to answer questions about the National Food Buffer Stock Company and government's indebtedness. We know we've been reporting in the last week of some senior high school and the food crisis over there. And so the education minister is coming in to assure members that government is doing what it can to address the concerns of the buffer stock company so that they can supply food to these senior high schools.
Kwekwa Asante is our parliamentary correspondent. We certainly will bring you more from Parliament in our subsequent bulletins. Now, let's take you to the Ashanti region, where final year students of some senior high schools in that region are yet to report to school, though their teachers are back from nationwide teacher union strike. Many of the students, according to authorities, returned home owing partly to the recent shortages of food supply in most senior high schools. At the Kumasi Senior High Technical School, over 300 final year students have since not returned to school after the Eid break. Love FM's Emmanuel Bright Kweku has more.
On campus, but the situation has been different for the past week. Student attendance at the school has been low since resumption from the Eid holiday. Students numbering over 300 are yet to report to school, with majority of the absentees being final year students. Andrew Boateng is the headmaster of KSTS.
The Form 2s, they ended their semester last Friday. So we did a reopening today for the Form 2s because they are starting their second semester. So they were almost full class. But the Form 3s, out of the 1,000 plus, at least more than 300 are not here. When they finished their mock, and because of the teachers' strike, some took advantage. You know, around that time that we also have the Muslim holiday. So they took advantage, took a ziyat and went home.
Teachers at the school are presently racing against time to adequately prepare students for the WASI, which begins in a month's time. But authorities fear the one-third absence of final year students might affect the general performance of the students in the external exam. The school is therefore urging parents and guardians to allow their wards to report to school.
Teachers have resumed work. They are in school teaching. But the students, most of the Form 3 students are not here. Some left officially, they took a ziyat. Some also went home without. And now teachers have resumed, they need the student to teach them. So I'm appealing to the to send their wards back to school. Because now full staffs are coming, we have food to feed them. So they should come. Because WASI is very close. At least by the end of this month, we start the practicals. Come September 1st, we'll start the written papers. So I'm appealing to parents to send their wards to the school. Teachers want to discuss mock, teachers want to teach them, to prepare them for the incoming WASI.
For JoyNews, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
Back here in Accra, brother of former President John Evans Atta Mills is furious with government for allowing the Atta Mills Institute tamper with the grave of the former president. The NGO run by Kokwanido says they are rehabilitating the Asumdwe Park, which has the mortal remains of the former president. According to brother of the former president, Samuel Atta Mills, who is also MP for the KEA constituency, says it goes to disallow custom that the NGO changes the grave without recourse to the family.
We are talking about the grave of President John Evans Atta Mills, my older brother, and from the same father, the same mother with him. Apparently, a group calling itself Atta Mills Institute that the family doesn't recognize, and Coastal Development Authority have gone to break this grave of President John Evans Atta Mills. They have removed the tomb, and what they've done is they claim that they are rebuilding it. Now, my question is this: we have traditions. Why would you go and touch somebody's grave without informing the family? Now, the question I want to ask is this. Now that you've gone to touch it, is the body still in that grave? What did you put in that grave? What kind of rituals did you perform over there? Why would you go and touch the grave without informing us? Who has the body now? And that is a question that I want to ask Ghanaians. Who has the body now? Coastal Development Authority. Under whose authority did you do this? Why do you always want to make us go through grief every time? Now you allow someone like Koko Anyidoho, that buffoon, working with at Tamils Institute, so-called, to go and touch this grave without informing our family head. This is a former president. Why would the government allow this to happen?
The furious brother of the former president is calling on government to immediately stop the conduct of Koko Anyidoho because it's desecrating the resting place of the former president.
This is an insult to the family. This is an insult to we, their accounts. This is an insult to the nation. My goodness. Now, the government allows an NGO to run Asomdwe Park. The government allows an NGO with Coastal Development Authority to handle the remains of President John Evans Atta Mills. Why don't we send another NGO to go and run Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum? Now, let me tell you, President Atta Mills is not the only president who has passed away in Ghana. Other presidents have passed away. Get ready. Other NGOs are going to run your graves, you the presidents. Those former and those living right now. NGOs are going to run your graves. Now, it's a very serious thing. I try not to talk too much about it, but the government has to provide the body of President John Evans Atta Mills. We want to find out where the body is. What have you done with it? What kind of rituals did you perform over there? Now, when cases start coming after you, don't blame anybody. Is national security aware of this nonsense going on? Is national security aware of this nonsense going on? Who in the government is authorizing this nonsense? IGP Dampari, you were the ADC of President John Evans Atta Mills. If somebody goes to Osu Cemetery to desecrate a grave, wouldn't you go and arrest that person? You sit down and the former president's grave, somebody goes to destroy it. This is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. This Sunday, we plan on going there for our 10th anniversary to lay some wreaths out there.
A former Youth and Sports Minister, Nilante van der Poel, who together with some MPs visited the gravesite today, says he's sad about the situation, showing pictures of the grave with its tomb removed.
If look like us at today when we visited the place. I've been sad, I've cried since morning. You could see from my eyes. Because renovating the place do not call for this desecration. And you can't do anything like that without informing and notifying the family. Because our customs and tradition as Ghanaians demands that if you are doing such a thing, a family member must be present. I've asked Sami, who just talked, we've asked Cadman, we've asked the family. No member of the family was informed of such level of desecration and disrespect to the grave of the man who made all of us. I'm sad. I'm really sad.
Meanwhile, officials undertaking the renovation of the Asomdwe Park have described as untrue claims they have tampered with the remains of former President John Evans Atta Mills on the blind side of his family, explaining it is simply a beautification exercise as part of activities marking the former president's 10th year anniversary. My colleague Joseph Akablay was at the Asomdwe Park and now reports.
July 24 will be exactly 10 years since former President John Evans Atta Mills died. We understand that on that day, there will be a special event that will be held here at the Asomdwe Park. That will be a reopening of the renovated park. The reconstruction is currently ongoing. It's that reconstruction that has given rise to news that has made rounds suggesting that the tomb of the former president has been tampered with. We've picked intelligence from individuals who are closer to the reconstruction works, who indicate that that is not the case and that simply a wooden covering which has been taken off to make way for
a concrete construction to be undertaken as part of the beautification process. And so they have expressed surprise at that suggestion that has been put out in the public domain. They make the point that persons who are closer and within the family of the former president are quite aware of this reconstruction that is taking place. And so this is the situation here at Asumdue Park. Reconstruction is ongoing ahead of the 10th anniversary celebration on Sunday, July 24. For JoyNews from Asumdue Park, my name is Joseph Akable.
Ghana is expected to begin the issuance of digitized visas to foreigners by the end of August. Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey says the new visa system will make it practically impossible to make counterfeits. Michael Ashali has more in the following report.
Hitherto, foreigners applying for a Ghanaian visa had to visit the consular and then fill many pages of documents. That is expected to change with the installation of a new visa system at the airport and at various foreign missions. Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey says the new visa will be difficult to fake and will fast-track acquisition.
This is going to make it very easy for people to come. It is going to also make sure that people cannot fake our visas, because the current visa stickers we use are handwritten at the missions abroad. So really, it's a problem. It's a major problem for us, where some people are even able to fake visas, and it's difficult for us to detect. Now, this will be a thing of the past. It will be rolled out almost immediately. I'm sure that in the next month or so, it will be rolled out. It will be rolled out first from our big missions, where we have huge numbers of applications, and then it will be extended to other missions. But I believe that with immigration, it will start after the test run and all of that.
According to her, the new visa issuance system brings the country a step closer to issuing e-visas.
Eventually, I see it as the first step towards eventually, when we have a good database, when we have people who are frequent visitors, and we know them. So at some point, the decision will be made, working together with the Immigration Service, whether we can now proceed to electronic visas, because then we know that we have a good database. It is safe for us to do this.
Head of Public Affairs at the Ghana Immigration Service, Amakwata, says the new visas will put the Immigration Service at a better position to prevent blacklisted persons and terrorists from entering the country, as the new system synchronizes the information from all the foreign missions.
Current process, which this new system is coming to replace, is that you walk into a mission in the UK, you fill some forms, then the consular officer in our mission will make a determination and issue the visa. But meanwhile, at the point of entry in Ghana, the immigration officer doesn't know who is coming with the kind of information that has been provided. So maybe in the UK, he may give an address as Mr. A. He comes here and says Mr. B. So now this system is going to help us to synchronize information from our missions and information that hit our servers from the mission. So if you should change or alter your information on the card, you become a suspect for us to further interrogate you. So in fact, it is going to improve on security and safeguard our borders against infiltrations.
The new system, when rolled out, will first be available in London and Germany, but the equipment will be installed at the Kotoka International Airport later this week. Ghana's immigration officers will be trained on how to use it this week. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale.
Stay away from bats, avoid hugging and shaking hands. That's the warning of the Ghana Health Service as it rolls out an enhanced containment plan to prevent the spread of the deadly Marburg virus in Ghana. At least 2 people have been killed by the virus, with close to 100 contacts placed under strict surveillance. The country's response program to the disease has been threatened by the widespread ignorance on the condition among the population. The Ghana Health Service says it is on a hand to unravel the source of the virus in the country. Dr. Franklin Asedu-Bekwe also says the service has activated a containment plan to prevent a further spread.
We have 98 contacts. Now the contacts are into 2 groups. There's a group that was in Ashanti region. So that they were 50. So technically they have gone through their maximum incubation period of 21 days. So technically they have been discharged. Now we are looking to the one in Solar. So hopefully, I think they will be discharged tomorrow, because they would have also gone through the 21 days of monitoring. So we are still looking, but let me say that what we are doing now is merely trying to identify as many contacts as possible. So we keep on asking questions, probing to see whether there are areas that the cases would have gone to that we missed. And so that's what we keep on combing. So we keep on combing. So if you see any more contacts, it's because we are exploring more.
Right.
We want to be sure that we break the transmission. Our main goal is containment at source, so that we don't want to spill over to other districts. We have had a lot of, we are actually doing this response with our partners. And the issues about base communication is going to be rolled up to the nation, so that people in Accra, Takoradi hear about it. But we also want to make sure that the issues about case management is well enhanced. We are working on the COVID-19. We train a lot of clinicians in the COVID-19, monkeypox, and biomagnific. So we are making use of it. Trying to make sure that we have isolation places earmarked. So assuming we get cases outside, that's where they'll be managed. So basically, those are the key things that we're doing as a service, while we try to expand this.
Even as the Ghana Health Service continues with its surveillance, virologist at the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research, Dr. Michael Owusu, is cautioning people to stay away from the bats, avoid hugging and shaking hands.
In a short while, once Marburg is becoming a problem, I will not be surprised that vaccines will be designed very soon to help curb some of this. But in the meanwhile, whilst vaccines are not available and drugs are not available, I think the precautionary measures are very important. The COVID protocols, ensuring you wash your hand, ensuring that you limit the intake of bushmeat, especially in the communities affected, as much as you can. You have to reduce intake of bushmeat, especially things like bats, to try and then avoid it as much as you can. And also be vigilant to report cases to the healthcare facility. If somebody is bleeding, somebody is vomiting, and you don't seem to know what is causing it, just report to the facility, get the person there and get them handled. And when somebody dies in your community, you don't keep the body and handle it in the way you want. So you expect the community to cooperate with the healthcare official. If they tell you that for this person that has died, the symptoms qualify as something that is due to viral hemorrhagic fever disease, and therefore your body will be kept from you and be further investigated. You don't have to get angry. You have to cooperate, because these are not normal times.
The 2019 batch of the registered nurse assistant clinicals and preventives have cancelled an intended demonstration scheduled for today, Wednesday, July 20, over non-posting since graduating from school. According to them, they have engaged the appropriate authorities for a long time without any meaningful response. So what caused the cancellation? Charles Apandago is the national president of the association and has been explaining the reason to JoyNews.
The cancellation of the demonstration was based on a meeting that was scheduled by Miss Madam Perpetua, that is the GRMA president. Yes. So I just had the invitation now, and then I said no. If Mother is calling us, then we can't do the demonstration. We have to call off the demonstration and go and listen to whatever she has to tell us and see if it will bring. Yes, so that is the reason why we canceled the demonstration. Yes, the decisions were taken by the other leaders. It wasn't me. The moment I had an invitation, I just quickly informed them, and then they also accepted it. Yes, they also accepted it. So we even invited the police, and then also told the police the same thing. Actually, at least what we are expecting at the end of the meeting, at least we are expecting that Miss Madam Perpetua will tell us something positive, that it will calm everybody down, and then also wait till maybe the time that he will say. Yes, because this meeting, we know and pray that something better is coming out of it. Something better is coming out of it. So.
Meanwhile, some of the members have accused the Ministry of Health of using the Ghana Registered Nurses Association to frustrate their efforts anytime they intend to embark on an action to demand postings. They spoke earlier.
We postponed this meeting because our mother association, which is the JRNME, called our leader to have a sitting with him so that they are going, they'll be able to trash out the reasons why we are still in the house. But this has been a usual thing that has been happening, and not with the mother association only, but with all with Ministry of Health as well. We've been there severally, and whatever they tell us just comes out to be negative. The promises that they give us always fails, because we've been there countless times. They tell us June ending, April ending, July ending, and all has failed. And right now, we are calling up this demonstration just to give them a listening ear, because the first one they called, we didn't give them that ear to listen. But this time, we are giving them the ear to just listen to them on what they want to tell us. Because we've been home for 3 good years, and they are aware that we are in the house. We completed 2019, and it's very sad that the Mother Association of all nurses and midwives in Ghana doesn't even care about his children, which is very sad. It's very sad.
When you come to the ward, we do most of the jobs. But where are we now? I have completed school for 3 good years now. I am still in the house. How do I survive? Instead of the government to post us, they will say today, tomorrow, today, tomorrow. So what should we do? When you go to the private sectors, they will tell you you are having clearance. So there is no need to admit you or give you admission. They can't absorb us into their system. They can't. They can't. So how are we going to feed ourselves and our children? It's not easy. It's not easy.
You heard the some registered nurse and assistants. We'll take a break on JoyNews today. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest coming from the world of business.
Hello, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The mid-year budget review will be seeking to roll out additional measures to fast-track the recovery of the economy. That's according to Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah. The presentation is now set to come off on Monday after it was postponed last week due to engagements by government and the International Monetary Fund for a program. Mr. Nkrumah has been giving more updates on what to expect when the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta appears before the House to make the presentation.
I think it's going to be in about 2 major parts. First, the minister responsible for fiscal policy will update us on what the hard numbers are. Some of those numbers have been published already by the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Ministry, but he will give us the latest updates, maybe up till about March or up till about June, on where, in particular, the fiscal position of the country is. Debt, revenue, expenditure, financing, targets against actuals, and all of that. Then on the second side, you would want to hear about the economic policies. Do we want to change some of the economic policies we came to the table with at the beginning of the year, or let's say in 2021 November when we were putting the budget there? Especially because after those economic policies were introduced in November and approved, we've had exogenous factors that have hit the Ghanaian economy, and we're all talking about the cost of living crisis, etc. So are there new economic policy measures that are being introduced to help better cushion the Ghanaian or to mitigate the impact of all of these challenges on the Ghanaian? More importantly, what are the measures that are aimed at growing the real sector so that the economy can expand and more people can find jobs and incomes and, feel better? You also want to hear clearly what those real sector expansionary and job creation measures may be. These are the major buckets within which the minister responsible for finance will be speaking to us, and I think we can be expectant to hear what sort of administration is finally agreed on. I'm sure you also update us on where we are in terms of our engagement with the fund, which is being invited to assist our which you'll be outlining.
All right, and speak about the budget. We're hearing just this afternoon that Parliament has approved the $750 billion component of the $1 billion syndicated loan. We will have that update for you on the marketplace. To stay with us. In other news this afternoon, the ARB Apex Bank has approved a strategic plan to raise its capital base to 25 million cedis from the present 9 million cedis. The bank will float shares of 5 million cedis annually for a 5-year period to enable members to subscribe. Managing Director for ARB Apex Bank, Alex Ewa, is hopeful the increase in capital will help improve service rendered to clients of the bank. Nanaya Ojima was at the maiden annual general meeting of the Association of Rural and Community Bank CEOs in Kumasi and filed this report.
For many years, the capital adequacy ratio for the ARB Apex Bank has stood at 9 million cedis, despite the increase of capital of rural banks to 1 million cedis. This has limited the bank's service delivery to the rural banks and their clients. By increasing the capital of the Apex Bank, clients of member banks whose loan needs could not be served locally will be taken up by the Apex Bank. Managing Director of the ARB Apex Bank, Alex Ewa, says in raising the amount, the strength of member banks will be considered in issuing the shares.
If we don't have the capital, we can't grant you significant monies. And recently, what we have also done is that we've introduced a product which is for non-members. And by non-members, we mean that if you're a rural bank and you have a customer, the customer is quite significant, the customer's account is good, but then you do not have the net worth to lend to such a customer. Certainly, we've introduced a product that will enable ARB Apex Bank to take on the customer and lend to them. But then, if our balance sheet, if our net worth is not strong enough, if we don't have the capital to do that, certainly Apex Bank will not be able to do that. And so it has become so imperative that we come to you for you to subscribe to additional shares.
To save distressed rural and community banks in the country, the strategic plan drawn by the ARB Apex Bank will establish a dedicated business unit for the purpose.
Is the effective management of distressed RCBs, for which we have set up a dedicated strategic business unit. The unit will be dedicated to troubleshooting our challenge RCBs and profiling them for effective and pragmatic remedial actions to bring them back to their feet.
The maiden AGM of the Association of Rural and Community Banks CEOs was attended by the chief executive officers of all rural banks in the country. The association seeks to promote best practices to ensure the rural and community banks take their rightful position in the economy. Hayatuddin Audu Ibrahim is founding president.
And so our greatest objective is using our numbers so that we actually become one of the leading force in ensuring that our individual institution, that's the rural and community bank, thrive, and as much as possible also we are able to contribute our quota to the local economy across all the catchment area where we individually operate.
For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
And the small business news on the marketplace at the top of the hour. Sports is coming up next.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews today. Now, Ghanaian musicians continue to make waves as this year has seen many on stages beyond the shores of the country. Ghana music is still making waves as this year sees acts on stages beyond the shores of the country. One of the biggest music events to hit the country is set to be hosted at the Palladium, Times Square in the United States of America. Organizers have put together a lineup of A-listers to grace the coveted venue. The artists billed to fly high the country's flag include Kofi Kinata, Camido, Sister Ifya, Prince Bright, Ifya, D-Black, Sifa, others. One of the fastest rising artist Melodies is also scheduled to perform on the day. The New York concert is set for September 3, 2022, and it's dubbed NY Ball. On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. My name is Becky.
And my name is Aisha Ibrahim. That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news there and updates of all our developing stories, including where is the autopsy report of Tamils, Anyudoho, Des Samuel Tamils, and other stories there. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Hi, ma'am.